Hi everybody, my name is Angelica from the Math Magician Bookkeeping. I'm one of the students in Bryce's coaching program, and today I actually wanted to talk with you guys about what it's like being one of the students in his program. So one of the things that I really enjoy about being part of Bryce's program is that he's not only there for us physically to help us with our weekly meetings, but he has so many resources that we can use in our day-to-day business. So for instance, he's got things such as the pricing calculator, the scheduling questionnaire, some templates and scripts, recorded calls, the Core 4 tracking sheet, lead generation skills, and not to mention, like I said, the way that he meets with us twice a week to kind of help us with any questions that we may have and just encourage us and support us to continue building up our business. So I had spoke about the pricing calculator. And the pricing calculator is probably one of the most useful tools that I would suggest from the program, especially if you're starting out as a bookkeeper and you don't know how to quote someone a price. This is one of the best tools to use. And I've had my business for over 2.5 years now, and this has been a lifesaver for me. I used to actually do my bookkeeping at an hourly rate. I didn't enjoy that very much because there were times that I'd be skimped on price, or I felt like I had to hide how long it was taking me to do certain tasks, especially starting out, kind of learning as I went on a few things. And then I ended up changing my rates to an hourly rate, but I was still charging too low for a lot of the clients that I ended up doing work for. So this is a beautiful blend of taking your hourly rate, which is going to be the time that you're spending on something, and meshing it together to where the results are an actual flat rate, but it actually makes sense with the time that you're going to be spending on someone's books. So the pricing calculator is basically an Excel spreadsheet, and it's got these formulas where whenever you put in certain numbers or answers, it's going to give you a certain number based off of that. So for instance, the main thing is going to be putting in your hourly rate. And Bryce usually suggests charging anywhere from $75 an hour to $120 an hour. So let's say you're charging $90 an hour and someone has 50 transactions per month. Well, basically that formula is saying if they have 50 transactions per month, that's an hour of your time, so that's already going to be $90. Not to mention all the other questions that the questionnaire has, because the point is to basically walk through with your client and figure out what their needs are, because every single client has a specific need and it can't just be one price fits all. So there's questions on there, and they actually go hand in hand with the scheduling questionnaire that I had made. There's an actual video, and I will post the link for you guys to watch that. And it talks about the scheduling questionnaire that I had actually created in lieu with the pricing calculator to just make things a little easier on myself. But there's questions that you go through. Like I said, you basically ask, how many transactions do you have per month? How many accounts do you have? Do you have any loans? Do you require payroll services? Do you file sales tax? Do you need someone to send out invoices for you? Do you need bill management? Are you interested in business advisory services? So all of these questions, depending on what your answer is going to give you a result of one of those formulas. So like I said, let's say they have over 100 transactions per month. Well, it's naturally going to say, based off your hourly rate, okay, you're going to be charging them $180 for this. Not to mention all the other things added in, their checking accounts, if they have loans, if there's some other things involved. Basically, all those things add up and give you an hourly rate. Another thing that I really appreciate about the pricing calculator is that actually at the bottom, it has a cleanup section. So this is specific for doing those large cleanups. A lot of times you don't really know how long it's going to take you to do certain things. So it'll ask, how many months in this actual year, 2022, are you behind? Let's say they were behind, basically April's the last year that they were able to get stuff caught up. You'll put in, they are behind 7 months because it's November now, and it'll automatically calculate based off of a formula how much you should be charging for getting their books 7 months up to date. There's also a formula in there for if it's past a year, and you can charge higher. So usually this is where the big money comes in, is the cleanup cost, and you can even give a discount. It actually has a formula. The formula has a discount put into it, but still, this is kind of where the big money comes from. And it's really easy to be able to price out and know how much a cleanup is going to cost, and then to be able to show them based off of what their needs are, what the price is going to be on a monthly rate. So that is one of the best features that I feel like that comes out of Bryce's coaching program. Like I said, I've tried other avenues before, and this has just been the most useful one for me, in my opinion. So I had talked about the scheduling questionnaire. Like I said, I had created this when I started the coaching program because I would have people schedule phone calls or Zoom meetings with me to see if they wanted to work with me and have me do their books. And instead of having to ask them right then and there all those questions, what I would do whenever they would schedule that meeting is I'd have them fill out a questionnaire. It would take them to my website, and they would fill out a questionnaire that I had created. And all the questions are the same questions that are on that pricing calculator. And so Bryce was gracious enough to use that scheduling questionnaire that I created as one of the resources in the coaching program whenever you start. And so not only is there that, but there's an engagement letter template. A lot of bookkeepers starting out don't quite know how to phrase or create an engagement letter or a contract agreement. And so there is a template in there showing you how you should word things, how basically just a template of what to do, how to phrase it, what it should look like, so on and so forth. And that's super helpful. Because for me, I've taken a lot of inspiration from images I've looked up on Google, basically looking at other contract templates and kind of taking inspiration from that to create my own, but his is actually really good. Not only do you have those, but you have the scripts like I had mentioned. And this kind of goes hand in hand with the templates. What I love about the scripts are that sometimes I want to say something, but I don't quite know how to phrase it in a way that comes across in a positive way, or that it just, sometimes I'm too timid and I need to be a little more forceful. But Bryce has these scripts that are very tactful, and you could pretty much use every word verbatim if you wanted to. But he's got scripts for messaging an initial new connection, a script whenever they respond back to you of what you can say, and then there's also scripts of whenever you contact your acquaintances and family members to see if they need your services. There's a script on how to talk to a subcontractor, scripts on referral partnerships. There's also a script for even creating a post as an introductory post in Facebook or on your LinkedIn page, you know, showing who you are. But it's got it phrased where you can basically choose like key points to mention, you know, what you do, and have it set up in a way that actually makes sense. Like for me, anytime I would have a new connection message me back, I would start like a personal conversation with them and kind of get to know them, right? Well, then I wouldn't be pushy enough to kind of be like, oh yeah, well, I'm a bookkeeper. I mean, it's obvious from my page. But I always hated being like, oh yeah, I'm a bookkeeper. I could totally do that for you. But the way that his script is, you know, you can message them like this as the initial point of contact. Once you have established sort of a connection with them, you can start by asking them next, is anybody doing your books for you? And that's a nicely worded way of saying, you know, just kind of getting to know where they are at with their books, and just kind of throwing it out there that you might be interested in doing that for them. So those scripts are super helpful. I had mentioned the Core 4 tracking sheet. This is very helpful whenever you are making those connections as a reference point. Basically, this is something that Bryce created, and it helps keep track of, like I said, your connections. So let's say that you're sending out 50 to 100 connections a day. Well, you can say, okay, I sent out 100 connections. How many of those connections responded back to you? Out of those that responded back to you, how many wanted to set up a meeting with you? Out of all of those that set up a meeting with you, how many actually wanted to work with you? And out of all of those that said yes, how soon did they sign up? Did they actually sign up? If there were some that said yes but never did, you can refer back to that and go, I need to contact that person and get them to work with me. You can also look back and go, okay, well, these are the ones that accepted my request, my friend request, but they haven't messaged me. So maybe I should circle back around to them and just kind of send them another message saying, hey, I'd love to get to know you some more. And that can restart that cycle, and then you might get more messages, and you put, okay, these people messaged back, they want to have a meeting, they said yes. The people that said no, what went wrong. It's basically a detailed way of keeping track of who you were actually contacting so that you can visually see that you're not wasting your time, and to also, like I said, go back and be able to talk to those people that you may have made connections with. So that's super helpful. I'd also talked about recorded calls. I love these recorded calls because basically you're learning from other students and listening to, watching either a Zoom call that they did or actually listening to a phone call of them actually having success with a potential with an actual consultation and getting a actual client. You're listening to, there's calls from other students that of all the ranges, like I said, actually getting a client in a initial consultation. There's one of a lady that she spoke with someone about a subcontracting job and how she went about that. Someone talking to a CPA to set up a referral partnership. And so there's all these different recorded calls that are super helpful because you're able to kind of see, hey, these people are just like me. They're one of the students and they're having success with this. And you can basically use that as a template in a way of how you should be phrasing things or doing things, being able to listen to some of the questions they asked and kind of analyzing that and being able to take that in inspiration and use it in your own business to be able to get your own clientele. So besides all of those tangible resources that you can see and listen to and hear, like I said, Bryce is physically there for you. So every week we have 2 meetings. We have one on Tuesday and we have one on Thursday evening. And it's usually about an hour long. And he asks us what our wins are for the week. That could be, hey, someone messaged me back. Hey, I have a potential client. I have a client. All of these great things that have happened. And if you haven't had anything that wonderful, then he kind of asks you what you've been doing. What can you do possibly to achieve your goals? And that's what I really appreciate, is that sometimes he can not necessarily give you tough love, but he tells you how it is in a very tactful way that really makes you want to get off your butt and work harder, because he's an accountability partner pretty much, and you don't want to let him down. You don't want to let yourself down. You paid money to get into the program, so why would you want to, waste that money by not giving it your all and not taking the advice of someone who has this knowledge? That's one thing that I really love about Bryce, is that he's been through the BS. He started his business in accounting and bookkeeping, and he knows what it's like to struggle through and start from nothing and then get to a point where now he has basically learned the secrets and he's willing to share that with us, and I think that's wonderful. I'd love to eventually get to a point like that. I mean, I feel like I share little secrets and tidbits with you guys here on YouTube, but Bryce has basically cracked the code on how to do it, and like I said, has given us so many resources. And so during those meetings that we have, he'll, if you have any questions at all, like I've had several questions, and he's very patient and will work with you on it, and it's just wonderful. Not only that, but there's a support group. He puts you in a Facebook group where it's all of us students, and we're all working towards the same goals. Other students will post questions. Other students may be looking for work, and other students can say, hey, I actually have some work and I'm bombarded that you could help me with. And so it's a great way to kind of help each other out and realize that we're all in this together. We're all just trying to grow our business, and there's some healthy competition in there. Like whenever the meetings happen and you hear someone talking about their wins and how they landed $1,000 a month client, you feel inspired and you're like, man, I could really do that. You know, you may feel down in the dumps at first, like, oh, I just only have like one potential person that may slightly be interested, or like they messaged me back but they didn't seem that interested. But then hearing that someone else had that happen to them, but hey, that it worked out and they got $1,000 client, it may not happen the same way for you, but it's just inspiring to hear someone else, and it kind of gives you that healthy competition of like, I want to get to that point. And so there's a lot of good support, and I got my first subcontracting job basically through one of the students. She was willing to help me out and mention me to the lady she was subcontracting for. So there's a great support system, not only with Bryce, but within the Facebook group, within the other students and the coaching calls. And it's just been wonderful. Like, I remember whenever I was thinking of actually joining the program and feeling slightly shameful that I even had to reach out to get help. I felt like, man, I should have been able to do this on my own. I should be able to figure it out. Why can't I figure it out? And so I felt very conflicted about wanting to do it. And I had tried other bookkeeping programs in the past. And if you want to see more about that, then you can watch my video here on how to become a bookkeeper and basically my bookkeeping journey. But I was really struggling with the idea of it. I kind of felt like, I don't know, I really honestly don't know about it. And I prayed about it and thought about it, and the way that Bryce was just so convincing, I guess, like the way that he kind of told it to me straight and was like, these are your goals, right? You want to meet these goals, so do something about it. Are you going to be able to do those on your own? Possibly, but you may need someone else who's going to be there as an accountability partner. And I tell you what, knowing that you're going to have to share your experience of what you're doing possibly twice a week can be a little daunting, just because you're like, oh great, I kind of have someone watching over me to see if I'm actually applying what I'm learning. But it is nice to have that accountability to make sure that you are applying what you're learning, because it does work. It really honestly does. You can watch my bookkeeping journey. I have an update on how I did that. But basically I went from making $800 a month to now I'm making like 7,000 something. So I'm really close to getting my 10K goal in less than 6 months. It's crazy. So anyways, if you want to see how Bryce can help you in your business as well, please click the link in the description or in the comment section below. Schedule a free 15-minute phone call with him. Just see what he could offer you. He's very flexible and willing to work with you. So I hope that y'all appreciate this video. Please give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Don't forget to subscribe because there's more videos like this, and I will see y'all in the next video.